What's up, guys? Mike here with Cards Do Sports Cards. I know, I said I wasn't gonna do it. I went ahead and did it. I got a job and I said I was not gonna disappear. Let me tell you, it has been a very stressful month, but a very good month. And I also took some time off in July to spend some time with family, but I'm back at it. Today, gonna share my experiences from the past month to help you navigate your own sports card selling journey. And remember, we did not do a video for June, so we're gonna talk about June and July in this video. If you are new to this monthly video, we're gonna talk about some of the sales I've made, lessons learned, strategy changed, money made, money lost, and the current state of my selling journey as a card seller. Before we get into it, if you want to unlock the secrets of selling and investing in low-end sports cards on eBay, this channel is your go-to source for expert tips, honest insights, and strategies to help boost your eBay sales. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button for me if you want to stay ahead in the card selling game, maximize your profits, and take your eBay card selling business to the next level. You can also check out my other channel at Puck Mike, where I open and talk about hockey cards. So remember, we're just going to look at June and July here. Let's kick it off with our top sellers and sales insights. June 2024. So we'll go to June here. Top 5 players sold this month. Had a good month for Connor McDavid. Even though they did lose the Stanley Cup final, definitely still some hype around him. I think they'll probably have a lot of pressure this next year going into the season to win. Probably will be favorites on it, to be honest. Jack Hughes, Tyler Beatty, Mike Trout, Igor Shesterkin. Percent of card sales by sport starting to even this out a bit, which is exactly what I want. More football, more baseball, less hockey. You'll see in July we added some basketball as well. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to sell only hockey, but in the US, that's just not what most collectors want right now. So the fact that I'm selling more of the others is a good sign. That means I'm starting to successfully pivot the business to even out my offerings. Percent of card sales by era, still here in the ultra modern era mostly. A lot of people just really want those newer products and the most popular players, but we'll talk more about that when I talk about lessons learned this month. We switch over to July here for the same numbers. Gretzky, Bronny James. I was surprised by Bronny James. I actually didn't mean to buy his card. The lot I bought, the person sent me the wrong lot and it had a few of his cards in it, so I guess I lucked out there. CJ Stroud, another basketball here. Brian Leetch, some hockey. Even more so, starting to even this out, football, baseball. Threw those basketball in. Still with the ultra modern era. A couple older cards here as well. All right, money made, money lost. Let's go back to June. Top 3 sales, I was profitable, so that helped generate some good cash flow. That's these 3 cards right here. Where did I lose money and why? Every single one of these cards in the negative here were sold at a low bid. I think most of them might have been even at 85 cents with free shipping. Now don't forget, last time we talked about how I switched up my strategy and was listing 15 to 20 cards per month at auction that I know will sell. And this was less about selling those cards for profit and more about generating traffic to my store. So I think it's helped a little bit, but I'm not seeing the low bid sales being offset as much by sales at normal prices as I would want to. So we'll see how long I continue that. And a lot of the ones I am listing for auction, they are selling at good prices, $3, $4, even up to $7, as you'll see in the July numbers. But summertime, things are usually slow, so I'm happy to keep doing these right now. Over to July, different story here. I did have a big lot that I sold of hockey cards, which was awesome. Had some good profit on that one. These 2 cards right here were at promo pricing. I'll talk more about that later. So no profit on those. This one had some good profit. This was one of those ones I sold at auction, went up to $7.01, $3.92 profit on that one. So I think this one also was auction as well. Looked at on those 2. Top sellers for July. Now this is only for July here. I didn't put June here. I did have that big lot. Like I said, it was over $100. I didn't break that down by card yet, so I kind of just left that off. But I had a good sale in June with this Jack Quinn card, $47. Pulled that out of a box myself. Got a football Monterio Hardesty, $7. That's a really nice card. I almost wanted to hold on to that one, honestly. Not a Browns fan, but I just thought it was such a cool card. But glad somebody got a hold of that one. And then $10.39 here. I think this one was auction as well. And then if we check out inventory turnover, did have a small dip in June. These are still good numbers for a sports card business, I think. July with that 100 card lot, inventory turnover was great. If I take that out of the numbers, it actually has another small dip right here. So that's a little concerning, but the reason I wanted to keep it in is because the whole reason I sold the cards as a lot was to turn over more of that inventory quicker. So something to think about. Maybe I'll do more of that in the long term. It is a lot of work to put those lots together. Something to think about for sure. All right, so that's some of the sales numbers from last month. Let's talk about what worked for me and what didn't work for me in selling sports cards and how I'm going to change my strategy based on those lessons. Things that work. One thing that worked that I already alluded to was selling 15 to 20 cards per month at auction. Now again, this is strictly to generate traffic in my store in the hopes that these sellers will save my store for next time, or that eBay will recommend other items to them in their recommendation section. So these are less about profit and more about the strategic initiative to drive customer engagement and revenue generation. I'm still just 1 to 2 months into my pivot away from hockey and into more football, basketball, and baseball cards. Again, not abandoning hockey completely, but focusing more on the other sports right now. So it's hard to say for sure if it's working or how much revenue this process is generating, because I do think it will take some time to pivot away from that, reorganize my inventory, and inform previous previous sellers who are already followers of my store and gain new followers who want those products that I'm selling. I still feel confident about this method to keep using it for a few months at least. I do have concerns because some of them do sell a little bit cheaper. So are some of my buyers starting to expect those cheaper prices? I'm definitely not here trying to sell cards for 99 cents, especially when I offer free shipping on pretty much all of my cards. You gotta keep in mind it takes a buyer a long time to really feel confident in your store. Not to mention you having the right item that they want at the right time that they're ready to buy it. Think of how many times you bought an item from a seller and haven't repurchased anything for a while because they just don't have what you're looking for right now at the right price. But you keep looking. I'm always shuffling through a lot of my saved sellers to see if they have anything new based on what I'm looking for at that time. Another thing that works is around sourcing and has to do with my buying strategy on eBay. As you know, sourcing through eBay can be difficult to find the right cards at the right prices. And although there are a lot of lots that are way overpriced, you can often get that price per card down if you make offers to sellers on multiple lots. This is one feature I wish eBay had built into their functionality automatically, but you can look at a seller's store and maybe they have 5 lots that you like. Sellers are more likely to accept lower offers if you're buying larger quantity. It's like, okay, these 5 lots add up to $90, but I'll give you $50 right now and you can move this inventory. You just find the lots you want, make the offers rather quickly, and put a note in there when you make the offer. Love the cards. I'm making an offer on some other lots that I'm sending right now as well. Might not work, but you have a really good chance of the buyer accepting those offers if you're offering on more than one item. So I'll definitely be doing more of this when I buy inventory next time. In terms of things that didn't work that well or lessons learned, one thing that didn't work was my initially planned 15 listings per day goal. That goal was way too ambitious from a time-consuming aspect, especially when I just started a new job and I have 2 kids, but from a cost perspective as well. 15 listings per day means I need to have around 450 cards per month to list, and I just don't have that kind of time right now, and I don't want to necessarily tie up that much capital in inventory yet. So right now I've brought it down to 6, 5 fixed price listings and 1 auction listing. And the auction listings I list on the first 20 days of the month. Now I have scattered some additional listings in here and there, especially if it's a card I think could sell really well right now. I might throw that in as an extra, but I'm shooting for 6 cards a day. Another thing that did not work, at least is not as well as I'd hoped, were my promotions like Flash Sale Friday and Sunday Slabs, which I'm no longer going to be doing. Every Friday I did a 99-cent sale for 5 cards with free shipping, and none of those cards sold during the sale times. I think I might have had 1 actually. Now there could have been some issues with the way I ran the promotion within eBay directly, but there are some limitations there with how you can do coupons and markdowns and things like that. But either way, both promotions just didn't generate the sales traffic that I was hoping to be enough of a trade-off for the loss in profit at selling the cards at a lower price. So I'm gonna stop doing them for now. Another thing that did not work was using Card Dealer Pro. Now if you've watched my video on how to list cards fairly quickly without using Card Dealer Pro, it's actually my best performing video, so you can check it out, and I really appreciate everyone who's watched that video. Since then, I've given Card Dealer Pro a try, number 1 for research purposes. I wanted to see what the fuss was all about, but number 2 because I thought, well, maybe I can actually make this work for me. And don't get me wrong, if you're like some of these other channels where you're listing like 300 or 400 or 500 cards a day, I can definitely see how it can be beneficial. For me, every time I try it, I just keep getting so frustrated because most of the cards I scan do not match to anything in their database. And then I literally have to go in, manually type it in, search for it. A lot of the cards aren't in there, so I don't know who's transferring the checklist to the database. It's just not worth it for me right now, and I'm not listing hundreds and hundreds of cards a day. So I'm gonna abandon that for now. And I honestly really just like taking the card, searching for it on eBay. Yeah, maybe it takes extra time, although it actually doesn't always, because I've said this 1,000 times. You don't just scan your cards in Card Dealer Pro and it magically goes to eBay. They don't always match right. They don't always match at all. You gotta enter your prices. You gotta set up your templates. You still gotta sort your cards, inventory them. So it's not a magic solution. But I like typing the card into eBay and doing that price research. And I'm actually learning a lot about the cards and players as I'm doing it as well, which is kind of beneficial because I don't follow football and basketball that much except for selling the cards. So it also helps me learn more about them as well. So I'm gonna go back to the other method that I really like. So how am I gonna change my strategy this month based on these lessons learned? In terms of sourcing, I'm gonna look to buy more inventory in bulk. I don't wanna add too much too quick and end up with stagnant inventory, but using the method I mentioned to make bulk offers on multiple listings for the same seller. And I've started using a complete annual listing calendar that indicates key events throughout the year that can impact what cards people are buying. Events like the NBA draft, NFL draft, off-season signings. Basically, every time you go to buy inventory, you need to take these events into account. I had a lot of NBA cards in my store before the the NBA draft that I bought last year, I think, and they haven't really sold that well. But I bought some small lots of prospects leading up to the 2024 NBA draft, and I targeted specific prospects who were supposed to be taken in the first round. So I bought the lots before the draft, and most of them were taken in the first round. And I sold some of those cards, as we saw in the numbers at the beginning. Same with the NFL. I bought a lot of rookies who have some hype going into the next season. I've sold a lot of those cards, decent prices at auctions, and I actually have some more coming as well. In terms of promotions, like I said, stopping those for now. A lot of the cards I list at auctions sometimes do sell for pretty cheap, so I'm gonna look at those right now as my promotion items or get people in your store items. I still want to find a better way to get people to buy more than one card. I've tried different card purchase discounts, like 5 or more, get 20% off, but they just haven't lifted my sales as much as I've hoped, so we'll see. Might try some newer ones going into the holiday season. One thing I started doing as well is putting promotional cards about my business inside every card that I sell. I literally slip it right into the team bag. I don't know why I was not doing this before. I think I've had these in cards that I've purchased, and for a while maybe it was feeling a little gimmicky, but it's literally a way to directly communicate with your customers. A little card that shows the eBay store, mentions that I have a YouTube channel. Even if I just get one new follower every now and then, it's definitely worth it. And lastly, if you caught my last video about ChatGPT, if not, you can check that video out as well. I'm gonna be using that to help me source cards. It saved a ton of time searching the specific crop of players that I was looking for, so I'm excited to use that again next time. And lastly, to wrap up this video, current market trends that I have noticed in the sports card market. The first trend is sneaky sellers on eBay. You know who you are. I was hesitant to talk about this because I don't think it's as rampant as some other channels might indicate, but it's definitely there. One example I noticed as I was sourcing lots is that duplicate cards of the same player were in that same lot, but they weren't right next to each other. They were in a separate photo on the lot. A lot of resellers like myself don't like a ton of duplicates. So you might look at the first picture, you see a bunch of cards. Oh great, there's a LeBron James card. Maybe in the third or fourth picture, oh there's another LeBron James, but you're just kind of looking through quickly. You might not notice that it's the same LeBron James in the fourth picture as in the first picture. Maybe everybody that does this doesn't have any ill intent. I know it takes a lot of work to group all the cards together before you even take pictures of them for a lot, but there's definitely some sellers that know what they're doing there, so definitely something to watch out for if you don't want a lot of duplicates. The other thing I noticed is that people are still collecting sports cards, which is great, but people don't want to pay anything for them. Most of the cards I listed at auction, I started at 85 cents with free shipping, and many of them sold at that price. Some of them I started at a higher price and didn't get any bids, but then I did when I lowered the price. People want to buy cards, but they want a deal. Every single buyer wants a deal. Part of this is because a lot of the buyers aren't pure collectors. They want to resell the card for profit, and so they're trying to get it as cheap as possible so that they have higher margins when they resell the card or have it graded. This is definitely a conundrum that I am still trying to solve, to be honest with you. You have an industry with more supply than demand, and I could probably sell a ton of my inventory right now if I listed them for 99 cents free shipping, maybe 85 cents free shipping at an auction for the starting bid, but a lot of those I would be losing a ton of money on some of those. And some of those will sell over time at my list price, whether it's like $1.99 or $2.15 or $2.50 with the best offer. So this is definitely a challenging one that I'm still trying to figure out. Do you want to sell your card now at a loss? Do you want to wait and sell it later for some profit, but you might not sell it later? That's where we are right now. That is the great challenge I think all of us are facing as card resellers. So trying to strike a balance between buyers wanting free cards, I guess, and me not wanting to give them away for free. So definitely something I've noticed in the sports card market. We'll see how that plays out over time. I do think a lot of sellers are going to get out of the business. I feel like we're kind of getting on the other side of the big boom, like with COVID, when tons of people were selling cards and tons of profit was being made. I know every time I turn around, it seems like there's a new seller or a new YouTube channel, but the reality is not all of these sellers are going to last. They're going to move on to other things. It's a lot of work. It takes a ton of time and dedication and a ton of patience. And maybe you can't make money at selling sports cards. Maybe you can only make decent profit if you're doing it at scale like Burbank Sports Cards. Maybe there are other sellers who are making tons of money and they're not as big as Burbank Sports Cards, but they figured out a niche. All of these things are what I'm trying to figure out for my business, and I know what you're probably trying to figure out for your business. Where do you focus your efforts? What products do you need to sell? How do you sell them, and at what price in order to make profit? And is that even possible? Is this just a hobby and not a business at all? All these questions I'm facing and all these questions I'm sure you're facing, but at the very least, I'm having a great time doing this, and I am so up for this challenge to try to figure out how to make more money selling sports cards, because people are still buying them. Don't let anyone think that that's not the case. People are still buying sports cards. How do you get them to buy yours? And that's why we're here. And I hope you enjoyed this month's recap. I'm so happy to be back on camera. Again, I know I took a little time away, but I really appreciate everyone's support. I have a great idea for the next video, so be sure to check that out when it comes out. But in the meantime, if you want to unlock the secrets of selling and investing in low-end sports cards on eBay, this channel is your go-to source for expert tips, honest insights, and strategies to help boost your eBay sales. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button for me if you want to stay ahead of the card selling game, maximize your profits, and take your eBay card selling business to the next level. You can also check out my other channel at Puck Mike, where I open and talk about hockey cards. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.